name is Al Holton.
And when were you born?
I was born February 17th, 1943. I'm 69. I was a letter carrier with the Glen Ellyn Postal Service. Carried mail from 1962 to 2001.
Were you in Glen Ellyn, Illinois, which I believe is 60137, is that correct?
That's right. It was a very beautiful neighborhood, and it was one of the nicer routes that any of the letter carriers would have liked to have had.
Was there any one address in particular that we're going to talk about that you delivered mail to? And who resided there?
That was Mr. and Mrs. Thomas Ayers.
And who are they?
Thomas Ayers was formerly president of Commonwealth Edison. He has a son that's been in the news whose name is Bill Ayers.
Now, did you ever know Tom Ayers, the husband of Mary Ayers?
I had a conversation with him not too long after they first moved in to their home. And basically it opened up, he asked me about my job and how I liked my job and things in particular about my employment situation. And then he started in on what I refer to as a Marxist type of viewpoint. Essentially it had to do with the plight of the working man, maybe being taken advantage of by corporations or the people that employ them. And I just had this uncomfortable feeling that he thought he knew about my situation as a working person better than I did, and that he knew what was best for me.
Can you recall the conversation in the early 1990s with Mary?
Yeah, one day she came to the door when I came up to the house with the mail. And after a greeting, she started enthusiastically talking to me about this young black student that they were helping out. And she referred to him as a foreign student. And he had a strange name. She mentioned it. I didn't remember it at the time. And I was just kind of taken aback by how enthusiastic she was about him.
Did you ever meet this young student?
Well, I don't know if it's some months or even a year later, there was a young man, black man, walking down the street just after I had delivered the mail to the Ayers home, and he greeted me. And he was very polite. He was nicely dressed, informally dressed. And immediately he entered into conversation with me and told me that he had taken the train out from Chicago. And he had come to thank the Ayers family personally for helping him with his education. I asked him, I said, well, now that you're out of school, what are your plans? What are you going to do? And he said, and he looked right at me, he says, I'm going to be president of the United States. And there was kind of a little bit of a grin on his face when he said it. And I know how people will say things because they have an ambition or something, but it did not come across that way. It came across like this was something that's already been determined. And I have to tell you that it struck me in such a way I was speechless for a moment.
How close were you to the Ayers home when the conversation started?
We were on the public walk right in front of their home.
You associated this young man you met in front of the house with the same young man that Mary had told you about?
Absolutely.
What made you think it was the same person?
Because he had come to thank them for helping with his education, and that was the topic of the conversation that I had with Mary.
Barack Obama running for office. Are you certain that this was the young black male you saw in front of the Ayers home?
I am absolutely positive that it was Barack Obama.
I mean, certainly must realize that saying a foreign student is very detrimental, very dangerous information. because that,
Yes.
and so,
I'm only telling you what I distinctly remember her saying in her description of him. That was in the sentence, that he was a foreign student.